Let's use iserver to get redfish attributes in a templated format. This is the start of the command. Get iserver get redfish template. You need to specify at least an IP address of the redfish endpoint. For example, a server which is redfish enabled. If the endpoint is predefined, if the authentication credentials for the endpoint are predefined, you do not need to specify user and password, and that's the case for me right now. So if I just right now hit enter, iServer will use the user and password for the given redfish endpoint. We'll use these credentials to authenticate via redfish, and by default we'll get the identity template that you will see in just a moment. The output is human friendly. It's not very much redfish specific. However, all the source of truth is based on redfish. iServer supports, as you see, multiple different templates or views, and that you can control with -v option. Let's have another example. Let's say you will want to see CPU. You can define multiple views in a comma separated way, or by defining multiple times -v or -- view command option. You can also do all, or for example select hardware, and then you will get the group of selected template or views. So here we have the view for CPU based on the redfish API call, and what's behind the view is hard-coded in iServer. So you only, as a user, you can select between the predefined views or templates, and based on the selected option, iServer is configured to get the appropriate redfish URI object and parse it and present it onto the screen in the user-friendly format. Or if you wanted to get the same data but in a JSON output, you need to add -o JSON type of option, and you will get this data not in the table format, human-friendly, but you will get the same data in JSON format if you wanted, for example, to jQuery that or use it in any other way. Okay. Let's right now run a more complete view of hardware settings. So if I right now select the view hardware, it will take a bit longer to execute, because behind the scenes hardware is treated as a group of views, group of templates: CPU, GPU, fan, power supply, memory, network interfaces, storage subsystem. So behind the scenes, there is multiple redfish API calls that are being made against the selected endpoint. And once the data, raw data is collected, it will be analyzed, parsed, and presented onto the screen in a human-friendly format, or like you've seen in the previous example, you could get the same with -o JSON output, and then you get the same data in JSON format. So what we get, going from the bottom, we have PSU, we have fans, we have the PCI, we have the network interfaces, Ethernet interfaces, we have the physical disks, virtual drives, storage controllers, memory, GPU if any, as well as CPU. That's what you get when you select the hardware view. And every command run you see below, so you don't have to look it up in the documentation, but you can also always use -help command to see what are the command options, and you should get exactly the same list of views that you get at the bottom of every command run. So as you see, IP is the only required parameter, as you see so far. If the IP address is not defined as an endpoint, you will need to specify port, username, and password, as well as optionally inventory type and ID in case the server is behind the Fabric interconnect. But like I said, if the endpoint is predefined, then all the location and authentication credentials are taken from the predefined database. And then you need to select the view, so the group of logical grouping of parameters that you want to see, and that's all.